Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this month's hearing of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. Today's date is September 14th, 2022, and the time is 5 o'clock p.m. My name is Kathy Pagani, and I am the chair of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. I would like to ask my fellow commission members to introduce themselves to you, beginning on my right, please.
William Edwards.
Jordan Morris. Chris Brooks.
Fran St. Wasden.
Thank you very much. And joining us from city staff, we have Mr. Chad Hobbs, the Associate City Attorney, Ms. Emily Hayes, the Neighborhood Resource Coordinator, Mr. Jonathan Bowen, Planner, Ms. Haley Webb, Planner, Ms. Angie Terrell, Administrative Assistant, and providing audiovisual assistance this evening is Mr. Kevin Jones. Let me go over very briefly the purpose of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. The general purpose of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission is to preserve and protect the buildings, sites, and structures of historic significance and interest in Tuscaloosa's historic neighborhoods. We are governed by Chapter 20, Article 2 of the Code of Tuscaloosa, which includes design guidelines that are posted on the city's website. Our decisions are based on these design guidelines and do not consider use or occupancy. We do consider such factors as architectural style, appropriateness of materials, and how the structure relates to other structures in the immediate neighborhood in determining the appropriateness of an application. Any approval of an application requires 5 affirmative votes. If the certificate is approved, I'd like to make the applicants aware that there will be a final inspection by city staff of approved applications to ensure compliance with what was approved this evening. This is a public hearing. It is televised live on local cable, streamed online through Facebook, and is being recorded to be posted on the city's website. We ask proper decorum, civility, and respect for others at all times. Prior to this meeting, notice was sent to adjacent property owners, and the public has been notified of the applications presented tonight. This hearing is a chance for the applicant to present their case, for the public to make their views known about the project, and for commission members to gather relevant facts about the application before making a decision. City staff will introduce the application. The applicant will then have the chance to make any comments. The commission members will then have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions about the application. I will then open the floor to public comment. At the close of public comment, the commission will discuss the matter and vote on the application. Any person wishing to speak on behalf of another person, group, or entity shall provide written authorization to the chairperson from that person, group, or entity being represented. Immediate family members, and that is defined as a spouse, a parent, or a child, do not have to provide such written authorization when speaking on behalf of another immediate family member. And we ask the applicants to please leave the signs in your yard. City staff will be around in the next few days to pick them up. I'd like to have the record reflect that Mr. Cox has joined the hearing. So let me ask the commission members, you've had a chance to review tonight's agenda items. Do any of you have a conflict of interest as defined by Section 6 of the commission bylaws with any of these items? Great, hearing none. I would like to ask city staff then if proper notification has been provided for each of the agenda items.
It has.
Great, thank you very much. And we are now ready to hear our first application. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commission. The first case before you is HPC 3622. Toby Dodson petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the installation of a skylight on the primary structure located at 16 Monash Drive. This is in the Druid City Historic District in Council District 4. Here we have the zoning for the property and the aerial overview of the property. This is the primary structure located on the property. Here we have the adjacent northern property, the adjacent eastern property, and the adjacent western property. The proposal is for the installation of a skylight. I was just notified by the petitioner that originally the skylight was going to be located on the front facade of the building. It's being moved to the rear of the building. so you will not be able to see it from the public right-of-way. I'll also let the petitioner show exactly where that would be located. Here we have the site plan that was provided. Again, this skylight will no longer be located here. Here are some examples of what the proposed skylight might look like. Materials are for the skylight. Here are the material spec sheet for that skylight. The design guidelines doesn't specifically mention this type of work. However, the roofing design guidelines were the most closely aligned with this type of work, so that's why they are provided. We received no public comment for this application. Representative for the application is here in person.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for city staff right now? Thank you, Mr. Bowen. I'd like to invite the applicant to please come up to the podium. Yes, thank you, sir. And, oh, I'm sorry, I'll speak a little louder.
Yes,
And if you could state your name and your address for the record, please.
Toby Dodson, 10729 Big Hurricane Road, Brookwood, Alabama.
Great, thank you. So the skylight is being moved.
Yes, ma'am, we're going to take the skylight just straight across the back of the house. Actually, on the drawing, are probably a couple of feet over, which will be, to the rear will be a lot less noticeable, actually covered by trees. So the homeowner decided about 2 days ago to have that back. I didn't figure it would be that. I figured you'd probably like that a lot better than being on the front of the house, which it is at a dead-end street anyway, but be a little less noticeable.
Great.
I think that house was built in the early 60s. It's not quite one of the older houses, but it's a very nice place.
It looks very nice from the
Very
photographs.
nice place.
Are there any questions for Mr. Dodson? Well, thank you. I think you've made our evening a lot easier with having the skylight on the back side of the house.
I'm sorry, say that one
I
more time.
think you've made things a little easier for us with the skylight being on the back side of the house where you can't see it from
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It won't be visible from the front of the house.
Great.
The back, it'll be, like I said, in the back, there's a lot of trees. There is a street that goes through. The way the house is setting, it won't be near as noticeable. And also the trees, it may not be noticeable at all because the back of the roof is on a 5-inch weld and it's 2 stories, so you probably won't be able to see it at all.
All right. And let me ask city staff, since you will be doing an inspection afterwards to look at the work, what do you need? We don't have an actual drawing showing the location of that skylight. So what do we need and how do we make this happen?
It depends on how you all go about approving or what condition you give. If the application, if you choose to approve as presented, I would recommend stating within that the location of the window must be behind the roof line or not visible from the right-of-way. That way we're able to confirm that whenever we go out.
Okay.
Yep.
So we don't need to have a specific location as we see with the original application.
Not unless that's what you all would like.
Thank you, that helps. Very helpful. Are there any questions for Mr. Dodson? All right, well, thank you.
Okay,
Have a
so-
seat.
That's
And-
so I'm not going to get sentenced to life. I feel like I'm in a courthouse. I'm fixing going off for the last time.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for coming this evening. All right, so is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? I'll close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by commission members and working towards a motion.
The movement to the back behind where it's not visible from the front right away alleviates any concerns that I had related to this. So I make a motion that so long as the skylight is not visible from the front facade at the right of way, approved. As presented with a qualification that it not be
Right.
visible from the front.
Yes,
away.
so city staff, how does that work? Do we say not visible from the front, or do we say on the back side? How should we word this?
I think the wording of the motion is pretty close. Maybe the motion should be worded as to approve the application with the condition that the skylight be installed on the rear roof and not visible from the street right of way.
Thanks very much.
Would you like for me to reword that?
If you would like to.
Motion to approve with the condition that the skylight be on the rear roof and not visible from the right of way.
Thank you.
Second.
And I have a second. Thank you. Any comments by commission members before we vote? All right, so the motion was very clear. Thank you, Mr. Morris. Let's vote. Let's begin on my left, please.
Yes.
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 All right, Mr. Dodson, your application has been approved this evening. Good luck with your project. Should anything change, see city staff before you move forward to make sure everything is all right. And good luck. Thank you. And let the record show that Dr. Nelson has joined the hearing.
All right, next case is HPC 3722. Brad Elliott petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the replacement of a window and the construction of a parking pad in the rear yard located at 1017 Myrtlewood Drive. This is in the Myrtlewood Historic District and Council District 4. Here we have the zoning of the property and the aerial overview of the property. Here we have the primary structure located on the property. This is the adjacent northern property, adjacent southern property, and the adjacent western property. This proposal is for two separate projects. The first project is to replace a window with a wood window. The second project is to construct a parking pad in the rear yard. So again, here we have the primary structure on the property. The window you see with the AC unit, this is the window to be replaced. Whenever they do replace, the AC unit will no longer be in the window. They're going back with just glass and a wood window. Here we have the existing site plan for the property. The area in blue and purple has been approved, expedited by staff to be removed. They're replacing what's here with two individual parking slabs. Parking slabs are made of appropriate material per the design guidelines, and they do not exceed the 35% of allowed parking area in rear yards. This is the view from Covenant Street, so this is where you'll see the parking pads will be located. All this has been approved to be removed. They did state that the trees will remain, that tree being this larger one right here. The other landscaping was approved expedited. Materials include wood window. The parking pad is crushed gravel and mortared brick pavers. Here we have the material spec sheet for the proposed window. And here are the applicable design guidelines for the window and for parking. We did not receive any public comment for this application. The petitioner is here in person.
Are there any questions for city staff? All right, thank you, Mr. Bowen. I would like to invite the applicant to step forward, please, and state your name and your address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Brad Elliott. The property is 1017 Myrtlewood Drive in Tuscaloosa. I'm actually a resident of Mobile, Alabama, at 407 Austell Place in Mobile.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your project?
You know, the window is kind of straightforward, that we just want to get rid of the AC unit and obviously make it also an egress. It's a safety issue. There's a little bunk room up there when we bought the house, and I don't want anyone up there unless they can get out of the house. And so there's no, other than the stairwell going down, I wanted there to be a window. Somebody could jump out of it if they had to. So that's kind of where the AC thing came from. So we'll be putting in a mini split HVAC unit. The parking pad comes about that my sister and I own the house together. She lives in Louisville, Kentucky. We both travel in to use the house together and also plan to have Thanksgiving here with other extended family. So the parking there is a little difficult. And so we would like to have some extra parking, that we're not constantly moving cars in and out of the house or dominating the parking on the street. So there's other houses on the street that had parking pads off of Convent Street, and so we were thinking, since the fence had to come down, and there actually was a really gross, nasty hot tub in there as well. So that needs to come out as well. So that we would take that opportunity to put some parking in back there if it was okay with the Historic Commission.
Do we have any questions for the applicant? Well, Mr. Elliott, everything's very straightforward. If we have further questions, we'll invite you back to the podium. But
Great.
right now, we're fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Having received no public comment, let me open the floor to public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to that application? Seeing none, I will close the floor to public comment, and let's open the floor to some discussion by the commission.
The glazing pattern looks generally consistent with the rest of the house. Certainly a lot more consistent than the AC unit. And the parking pads meet the guidelines and are consistent with what's on the street, and they're on a back street. They're not on the main right-of-way. So it appears, or I would move that we approve as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
That was a long pause, folks. So I have a motion to approve the application as presented this evening, and I have a second. Any further discussion before we vote? All right, so the motion is to approve the application as presented this evening, beginning with Dr. Nelson.
Yes.
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 Mr. Elliott, your application has been approved this evening. Good luck with the project. Should anything change, please see city staff before you move forward with it. And good luck. Thank you for coming.
All right. In other business, staff approved 11 expedited reviews since the previous HPC meeting. That's all we have before you tonight.
That's a lot. Thank you very much. I know you're really busy in your office with all of these. And with that, no further business. This concludes this month's hearing of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. Thank you, everyone.